We are here with the Matt Walsh. Man, it is great to have you out here at Front Sight.
Great to be here, yeah.
What made you decide to come out in the middle of the desert and shoot guns?
It just sounds viscerally appealing, doesn't it? Being out in the desert and shooting guns. I've been a Second Amendment advocate for forever, and I've always liked the idea of owning guns and people being able to protect themselves, protect their families. But I haven't taken the time to actually become proficient in it myself, and I realized that's something I needed to change. You know, it's great if you grow up with it and you grow up and you grow up learning guns and learning how to shoot, but then if you don't, at a certain point as an adult, you have to say, okay, I'm gonna make the decision now to actually learn this skill for my own sake and for my family, especially as a man, as a father. So it's kind of what brought me out here.
Well, that takes some humility and guts at the same time, right? Some courage and some humility, just to say, I don't know this, I need to learn this, right? That was not me. I came out just because my son wanted to come out. I was still like, no, I got this, I'll handle it. And then I realized what I didn't know and how much I needed to train. So just impressive, first of all, that you recognized I need this and I'm willing to go out there and do this. So did that work? I mean, do you feel like you've improved, learned some skills, feel more confident with it?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I was starting at zero, so you know, any notches above that is improvement. But I think just for being here, I've improved far more than I thought I would. And you know, I was saying to my wife before I came here, I was a little bit like nervous because I thought I would suck so bad that I didn't want to embarrass myself that much. But the great thing is, you know, through repetition and working with the instructors they have here who are amazing, you know, the improvement sets on a lot quicker than I thought. And also, you know, you're working with professionals; they're not going to make fun of you for not being an expert. So
except me.
Of course you were. But
I was making fun, but no, I didn't actually. And I know you kept thinking we were, you know, just being nice, but no, you really did do well. I think part of it is just that eagerness to want to learn and to do it right. And so you soaked in everything the instructors gave you, and really in the time period that you were out here, massive improvement. From what I saw on the outside, watching you the first minute you stepped on the range to the last minute was a huge improvement. Did you feel that internally? I mean, did you feel like your handling skills and everything took a leap forward?
Yeah, it felt more natural. Even just the really basic fundamental stuff of loading and reloading, just, you know, because you got to start at absolute ground zero. And when you first start, all of that feels awkward. Because if you haven't really done much of it, then it just, the stance, everything feels, you know, you're not used to in your daily life standing that way, and holding an object like that.
And even the muscle memory and the dexterity of everything, yeah.
So you got to kind of realize that you're starting from ground. If you're like me and you're a beginner, you're starting at ground zero, you're building from there. And if you can walk away just feeling like this is a little bit more natural and it doesn't feel as awkward, then that to me, that's in and of itself right there, that's a massive improvement.
Good enough, you want to do it again?
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to get my wife out here. I want to get some of the other Daily Wire people out here.
Right.
You know, that's the next.
Except
step.
Knowles, you don't want.
Not him. I don't know if he'd even be able to lift the gun, but
he may not even be old enough to come on the range.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. It might not be. No. So we didn't get a lot of time on the Constitution part, but just philosophically, what do you think about this idea of people coming out, learning to defend themselves and their family, but also getting just that basic civic literacy that we don't do in schools anymore, having the chance to dive into the Constitution a little bit?
Yeah, well, I think that's great. It's just as important as learning, because that's the intellectual part, which is just as important, if not more important than the physical part. And you know, it's a big problem. We've got millions of adults, hundreds of millions probably, of Americans who don't understand. We talk about the fundamentals of firearms, but they don't understand the fundamentals of our nation, what it was founded upon, the ideas that it was founded upon, our history. You know, it's not that we all have to be expert historians, but we should at least know the basics of what our country is and why it is. And that's being lost, and in large part because the school system is failing, either failing to teach it or actively teaching things that are false on that subject. So I think that's awesome, yeah.
There was a signer of the Constitution named George Mason. He said, "No free government nor the blessings of liberty can be preserved to any people, but by a frequent recurrence to fundamental principles." And just like you're saying, if you don't have the principles of firearms, you're not going to do well and learn this. If we don't have the principles of freedom, if we don't know what they are, we can't expect to be able to pass them on to our kids. And I agree with what you just said. Is everybody doesn't have to become a legal expert or any of that, but just to know the basics of being a good citizen and what's my job under the Constitution. That's really our goal, is get millions of citizens to understand what is your job, not just to enjoy the blessings of liberty, but actually preserve this thing. So getting them to come out here and learn, that's our mission, you know. And the firearms is the window dressing and the eye candy to get them here.
Yeah.
But so then they get the benefit of being able to defend themselves. But that intellectual knowledge is huge. You're equipping people on a daily basis through your show in the same way. I mean, through your commentary of what's happening every day, you're sneaking in those principles as you comment on that and teaching people why what's happening is wrong and what the right things are. So to me, it feels like a perfect marriage. I am really glad you came. I hope you see it that way, and I hope you see how they can tie together.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this was a great experience. Like I said, a little bit of, I think probably for a lot of people, especially if you're a beginner doing something like this, you probably have some nerves going in. I know I did, but you get comfortable real quick. And especially when you realize that, you know, there's a lot of people out there who don't have the basics down, whether it's on the intellectual, constitutional part, or on firearms. But you gotta start somewhere. Otherwise, you're gonna, you know, live your whole life and never make the effort. So
Right.
you got to make the effort, and I think this is a great place to do it.
Well, if it helps any, if there were nerves, the beard never showed the nerves. I mean,
That's why I keep it. This is my permanent face mask that covers everything.
perfect disguise, without a doubt. So what would you say to folks that are watching at home, that are thinking about it, even like you were saying, they may be thinking, I don't know, I've never done anything like that. How would you encourage them to come?
You got to take the first step. I think the hardest thing is just to commit to say, okay, I'm going to go do it. And then once you make that commitment, and you know, you get in your car, you drive up here, you get on a plane, however you're going to get here. Once you get down here, I think it all, at least for me, almost right away, I thought, okay, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I came. And then the rest of it, you know, there's the hard work of putting in the repetition and learning and sitting in the classroom. But it's also a lot of fun. I mean, it's hard. Sometimes it can be hard for me to have. If I can have fun doing it, then that's the way. I guess that's the way I pitch it. If I had fun out here, then I think anyone can. So
I think I saw you smile a few times.
Yeah,
I mean, we won't tell anybody. It'll be our secret. But
there might have been one or two.
One or two.
You
Yeah.
know, could have been just grimacing or what, but I don't know. But it is just a lot of fun, and it's, if you can have fun and you can also, and you're learning really important skills.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's, you know, a win-win situation.
Did you, speaking of the fun part, I was intimidated by the idea of, you know, I haven't been in the military. I was afraid I was going to get here and it was going to be like a drill sergeant situation.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. Speak to that a little bit, just the experience with the instructor and the patients and the you know, just the way they teach here.
Yeah, I'm kind of blown away by the instructors. I mean, my instructor was great, because the patience it takes, I think, I can imagine if these are all experts here, and they've been doing this forever, and to be an expert at something, and you're trying to teach to someone who's starting at ground zero, and you go through those repetitions of these things that you know so well, it takes a lot of patience. I don't know if I would have the patience to do that.
I know I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm actually quite certain I wouldn't, but yeah, incredible patience, you know, and just gives you that sense of comfort.
Yeah.
Right away.
And they see all the little things that help us, you know.
Yeah,
improve.
that's the one thing. I was impressed just to have an instructor standing 5 feet away, and he can, if you twitch your finger wrong or if you're looking where you're not supposed to look, he notices all that.
Yeah.
And those are the little, they seem little, those are the little things you need to become aware of yourself so you can get better.
Two of the things that the class builds up to prepare you for. The first one, going through the simulation house and the scenario. What was that like, actually clearing the house, dealing with a situation that you trained for?
Yeah, that was it was a combination. It was a lot of fun. Also a little bit, it feels more real when you're in there, so it's a little bit nerve-wracking as well. But it's a great way to start applying the skills that you learned.
Yeah.
And you know, I went through and I killed the bad guys. I didn't kill any of the good guys.
No, that's what I asked
that.
you when you came out, right? All the good guys alive still? Yep. Bad guys dead? All right. Hey, man, that's 2 thumbs up all the way. Last thing, for me, the most powerful part of going through the course was at the end doing the hostage situation with my wife's name written on the target. You did that, and you saved your wife. What was that like? Were you able to mentally even enter that moment of, hey, this is what I'm training for? And
yeah. It does just make it, even though it's just a name on a target, it makes it more real. Especially when you think that, you know, something like this could happen in real life. You never know.
Yeah.
And so when you start putting yourself in that mindset, it definitely brings all this stuff into reality for you. And but yeah, I texted my wife right after and said, I just saved your life, so you're welcome.
So she'll let you come back now.
Yeah.
And she'll hopefully come with you and train.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
You'd be surprised, man. We have more women than men that come with us. So like our demographic for the folks that come do the classes is about 55 actually, most of the families that come, it's the wife that is pushing hard to come. I know that sounds crazy, but I think they recognize the need to be able to defend the family, and the violence and the things that are happening out there in our world today. They know. So I'd love for her to come with you. I think y'all have a great time. We have great family time when we come out here. But when you show her that target, how many times you saved her life?
Yeah, she's got to.
She's
She
gonna
has
say more
to
of
come.
this.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Anything you want to add about just the experience or whatever?
Well, again, I would just encourage people to. I mean, you said that more women than men that come out. That kind of doesn't surprise me in a way, because I think maybe there are a lot of guys that are kind of like me, and they feel like, well, I should already know this,
Right.
and it's kind of embarrassing that I don't. Well, there's no reason to feel that way,
And they don't make you feel that way when you're here.
Not even for a second.
Yeah.
So whether woman or man, doesn't matter. Come out, and you absolutely won't regret it.